G'day, Rodney and Julie here. Let's see where today takes us. This trip sees us travelling the remote Nyangumarta Highway located in the Pilbara region of Western Australia, a roughly 600 kilometre track stretching from Sandfire Roadhouse through to Punmu. Previously known as Kidson Track or Wappet Road, it was created in the late 1960s by West Australian Petroleum Proprietary Limited during the early oil and gas exploration days. Before embarking on the track, we also topped up at the Sandfire Roadhouse, filling our 140 litre tank and carrying an extra 20 litres in a jerry can, just in case. As it turned out, we didn't need it, but out here, it's worth the peace of mind. About 18 kilometres in, we crossed the cattle grid and entered Nyangumarta land. The first 90 kilometres or so was actually pretty well maintained. Wide gravel roads, regularly graded and clearly used by drilling and mining traffic. Camping Area 1 is a large open site. When we were there, a couple of mining caravans were set up, 4 toilets and a water tank. A solid option if you were breaking this trip into shorter days. About 10 kilometres past Camping Area 1, we noted a restricted access track off to the right, and that is where it all changes. The track narrows right down, becoming unmaintained and much more interesting. The Kidson Track was never gazetted as a road by the West Australian government. But when the Nyangumarta people gained native title over their traditional land in 2009, they were granted exclusive title rights over the area the track passes through. Therefore, as with any private road, the landowner's permission is required to use the track. But prior to tackling this track, we needed a permit, a simple online application with instant approval. The cost? $110, which was valid for 30 days. A permit allowed access to Nyangumarta soak, a traditional water source. Camping Area 2 is where we stopped for the night, another large flat site with toilets and a water tank. and a hand pump that actually worked very well. We used the water for washing and showers, but didn't risk drinking it. The landscape out here is pretty consistent: spinifex, termite mounds and the occasional tree. There are a few restricted no stopping and no photography areas along the track. But the tricky part is, none of them are actually signposted. We were mostly working off maps and estimates. One appears to sit about 10 kilometres east of Camping Area 1, another near Citadel Hill, roughly 30 kilometres east of Camping Area 2, and a third near a rocky outcrop about 20 kilometres west of Nabaroo, Rose's Track. Further east gets tighter again, more overgrown in places, definitely picking up a few pinstripes along the way. Around 250 kilometres in, we started hitting the sand dunes. They're all gravel capped, but some are heavily eroded, especially on the southern sides. At around the 320 kilometre mark, we reached the eastern boundary of Nyangumarta land. No sign, nothing on the ground, just a line on the map. There was another hand pump a bit further along the track, but it was hard work and we couldn't get any water out. Some sections got pretty overgrown, to the point where we had to clear the track just to get through. We turned off towards Nyangumarta Rock Hole. Had a bit of a look around, but we couldn't find it. And we eventually gave up and moved on. Next stop was the Pilbara Regiment Memorial, a quiet, windswept place honouring Sergeant Tony Marathi, who was killed in a vehicle accident in this area back in 1994. The visitors book located here showed the last group had come through 18 days earlier, and we were only the 26th entry for the year. As the sun set, we pulled up at Wind Pump Camp, collected some firewood and settled in for the night. A great spot, clear skies and plenty of space. The next morning we packed up and continued on. Not far down the track, we came across an abandoned camper trailer. Definitely makes you wonder how that ended. As we near the end of the trip, we start to reflect on the last couple of days. The wildlife was very minimal. We only saw a few birds and some lizards, one dingo and a handful of camels right towards the end. And we didn't see another vehicle the entire time. There's not a lot of major sights along the drive. It's mostly gravel with the occasional sandy patch. But that's not really the point. It's about the isolation, the terrain, and just settling into the rhythm of the track. After around 600 kilometres and more than 13 hours behind the wheel, we reached the end of the track. Thanks for coming along with us. We'll see you on the next one.